into the day.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be in your presence.
Thank you. You too. I'm very much been looking forward to our catch up.
Excellent, excellent. So how are you? Everything going well?
Well, I've been clearing a lot of lineage stuff actually. The whole of July, I've been clearing addictions in both of my birth family lineages. And now it's clearing gambling. So it's like, oh, this is a big one because it's a really powerful pattern
Yeah.
that just sucks
Mhm.
energy and, money and people's, sanity really in. So, yeah, that's what
If
I've
I
been up
if,
to.
if I may inquire, do you have any Irish ancestry?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes.
Isn't that something? The
It's
Irish.
so magical, but yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these wonderful people, um, their history has been erased almost. They were part of the high society, one of the high capitals of Atlantis. In fact, they educated the Egyptians, even to
Wow. I did not
recent.
know that.
Oh, yes, yes.
Wow.
They're part of the people that passed on the knowledge to the old Egyptian civilization. Even to a few centuries ago, they were wealthier and they had a bigger naval fleet than Britain. And
Oh,
we know the more recent history where they were, I mean, decimated through famine.
wow. It
That
wasn't famine. It was,
biological warfare, rather.
yeah.
And
Let's not go there, but
let's not
yeah.
even go there. But then
Yeah.
that does leave generational trauma. So I also have Irish blood, so
Uh,
I know what you speak of. It's
yeah.
those
Yeah.
things. People that heal themselves, it seems automatically what transpires immediately after is bloodline cleaning. So I've also experienced this type of thing. It usually
Ah.
manifests in the form of addictive behavior, gambling, alcohol, that kind of thing.
Okay, so it's quite a common one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good,
And
good on
it's
you.
been, yeah, thank you. And it's great. Like, it's so good. I welcome it because I don't want it continuing for
Beautiful.
myself in ways that don't look like addiction, but they are. I hold the
Yes, yes.
patterns, but and also for my family in more obvious ways. But and it's
Yeah.
literally being in my blood. Like I developed varicose veins in the last, well, I had them before, but they popped up again in the last couple of weeks, and I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In my side, it manifests in the form of autoimmune disease and cancer.
oh,
Almost like a time bomb. So it's really
wow.
amazing. And sorry that I'm not giving you a chance to introduce yourself. Well, as any master, straight into business, huh? Um,
I
but
don't
there's
mind at all. I find it so interesting to talk to you and
it's
um
really
yeah.
amazing, isn't it? So, Valentina, um, you're a very ancient and powerful soul, or let's be more precise, aspect of divine will down here in a body. And for many years, you've been helping people. I would like to now just be silent. Apologies, I do get excited in the presence of masters. Please introduce yourself and say whatever that you will about your approach to healing and what you see to be beneficial to people. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay, on the spot. So my name is Desiree Valentina Mathias, with Valentina being my soul name. So I popped it in the middle of my birth name to honor that. And I've had many lifetimes where I've been famous and prominent, probably in the Irish royalty lineage lines. as well as other ones that I'm aware of. But I've never quite, well, not never, but in recent lifetimes, I've never quite achieved my mission of really healing and really waking people up. So I decided in this lifetime, and also in some of my lifetimes, it's been in the middle of trauma. Like even I know we're in the middle of clearing trauma now, but like during the wars and different wars and during the orchestrated famine in Ireland. And it's in my family. I've been in my family lineage as well as being who I am, traveling around as a healer, and just doing that constantly. So there wasn't time to do anything more than, lay my hands on people and set bones and heal and assist. And so this lifetime I came in with a lot of gentle energy to bring this flow of the water element, because we decided to call me the river of life last time we met, and it really resonates with me. I love it so much. I often talk about the river of light in our body when we work in a shamanic sense and can see the body. And so I decided this time to bring it down directly into a body rather than to keep a lot of my energy on the other side and connect with my human self in the ways that people would call an oracle, or through meditation and prayer and things like that, and with the Irish lineage through song and poetry and dance. And so so this time I decided, and I'm not the only one. I've met other people, like yourself, who have brought directly in a very strong, direct emanation of who they are. And I just can't, when I was up, I went into the Cosmic Akash. It's open now, by the way. So when I was up at the top talking to, or sort of communing with the other aspects of myself earlier today that are in other universes, I realized that we've worked together, like it's a co-creation to bring the energy of who I am into a human body. It was an assessment of, if we can do it there in other universes, then we can do it here. And I regularly, or I do now, with the last couple of weeks of clearing that I've had to do, I regularly take the embodied soul and my higher self, my light body, back all the way up to the cosmic Akash to kind of show and say, this is what's going on. I need help. So, or am I doing okay? Or what do you need me to do next? What am I meant to be doing next? So, so when I was back before incarnation, and way, way, way back, hundreds of years ago, when I went right back, and I thought, even though I have had an incarnation like right previous to this one, died in 1963, and then were born for this one in 1964. But I still went back further when I went back up to Cosmic Akash to go back and speak to the other aspects of me that have come out of the river of life into the different I ams in the different universes. And so we decided to come through what we perceive to be the safest container of energy that's been created for the journey down, which is the different Akashas. So most people just talk about the Akashic records, but there's actually a series. Well, there's Akashic fields of energy everywhere. People are accessing other ones. I access the Andromedan Akash, and I've been with another healer, has taken a group of us into the Alexandrian records, like the Akash of the library. So there's it's a record, everything leaves records. If you look at the rings of a tree, it's records. You can feel someone's energy when they've walked out of a room. They've left a fractal, they've left a record. So it's not such an unusual concept, but this concept that came out of Source was that we would have these series of akashas. This is a very simplified explanation, coming all the way down to our body, so that I'll just say in my case, but it applies to everyone, so that my energy could come down, right down from the light and the sound to which the I am, down to the oversoul energy, and then start creating the higher self, and then finally bring a soul into a physical body. And I was looking at this system, which I didn't create the Akashic system. I do know the galactic being that did, both in person and out there, because he is currently incarnated at the moment too. So another one who's brought like so much in instead of just the normal human body. And so I just, we figured together the different aspects of myself that are in, like, so I have consciousness everywhere, but I have like a stronger concentration into a being of light that comes down into different universes. So myself and I've seen 4 of the other aspects. I know there's another one from talking to you, that there's another one, and 6 is, it runs through so many things I do. So I know the 6 is the correct number. And we worked out how to create a blueprint to come into a physical body. So, and retain the consciousness from source, start cleaning all the akashas, because they are at a stage where they need cleaning now, and connect people back up to their wisdom and help create the architecture of the New Earth timeline. I'm one of the people that's on the New Earth timeline. It's before it's opened, as most people out there think, but there are some of us who are already on the New Earth timeline, and we get to create the architecture of it, and open the doors, so to speak, which is really just a vibrational uplifting for people. And so that's one of the things, the most recent things that I came to do. So I decided to come down through the Akashas, and I already had another incarnation already happening in the Earth Akash. So you've got the Cosmic Akash, the Universal Akash, the Galactic Akash, the Earth Akash, and then the Soul Akash, which is really the body Akash. And we talk about going to them, but we are them. But it's just our way of go. You know, we live in a world that's linear. And so I had already been born into the Royal Akashic lineage, just staying in the Akash, like aeons ago when it was created. And so I used that DNA, that soul DNA, to come in for this lifetime. And in other lifetimes, I've used a lot more what you would call light, higher self, or more mind coding, more consciousness coding, to talk and to communicate, which I can still do, obviously, but more to be on the stage out there with fame. But it didn't work. Like I ended up exiting life before I got to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So this time I came through the Akashas knowing how incredibly safe that they are. So came, birthed into my life, but also knew, because I knew about how the Akashas go right up to source, that I could also bring in consciousness that's really, really high that is on the earth, but people don't access it that much. It's very much connected to the deep, deep oceans. So I brought that through as well, and my Akashic energy chose a family based both on what I wanted to clear from my most immediate previous life and the DNA, that coding that they held, and also the strength, you know, the longevity. Both my family lineages have longevity in them. And particularly with the Irish lineage, it's an Irish and a Welsh lineage. My father's Welsh. Particularly with the Irish lineage, it goes right back to the Fae in the ancient times. So that one was particularly important to me to bring through. So I managed to bring it through, and then I was always going to the library in the sky. I had a birth story that enabled me to keep a foot in both worlds with the Akash and here. Traumatic birth story, but good as well from a soul point of view. So I was able to keep a foot in both worlds. So I would spend my childhood going up into what I called the library in the sky and talking to the tall men with beards and robes. And we would sit in sacred circle, or I just called it in circle, and there would be these big shelves, and we would pull scrolls out. I might go up and get one, or they might, and we'd open them up and look at them. And there was a lot of geometry. There were a lot of equations about the I guess you'd call it the biology, about the land where I lived, that maybe the geology is a better word. I grew up in New Zealand, a very pristine, beautiful country. So there was a lot about the local area. There was, of course, things just about my family and my friends and my community. Which made life confusing as a child because I didn't know what had happened in real life and what had happened in the library in the sky. So I learned to just observe what other people were responding to. Anyway, there was a lot of equations about World War II. And I used to dream, even when I wasn't in the Akash, a lot about World War II. I used to go back there in my dream time and do a lot of assisting for people that were trapped in traumatic situations, a lot of saving, getting people out, rescuing. And so I had that childhood, and I learned to sort of zip it, not talk about it, because it's like no one understood. And it was also jumbled. Every morning I would think, today's the day. Today, I'd get so close. Like I'd be like, I'm almost awake. I'm almost awake. I'm going to remember it. Opening my eyes, gone. Oh, it's just like such a jumble. So I stopped trying to tell people because I couldn't get it in a cohesive conversation, and I was a kid, and we were in a rambling Irish Catholic family as well. So it wasn't. I mean, it was great because there was a lot of creative freedom, but not. But you still went to church on Sunday, and that's what you were expected to believe. So, but also with the Irish, and I don't know if you remember this or know this from your lineage, they also understand the spirit world. So if we saw spirits, my mother would ask us to describe them to me, and she would say, "Oh no, that's grandma. That's fine. You could say she's looking after us." Okay, thank you. So that was lovely, and just the acceptance that you knew when people were going to die because they became very fey, which is psychic for people that don't know. There's the whole Fey lineage, but becoming Fey means you get this otherworldly understanding because you're starting to connect, like all the way back, third eye, all the way back to everything you are, and so much more understanding of life, and what equations you need to sort of tie up and figure out at the end of your life. Anyway, so I grew up and I had an interest in the alternative world, but also felt a bit guilty about it. So I would go and see other healers and go to other retreats and learnt different things and learnt how to do Shakara balancing, but I called it chakras then. But Shakara is words have vibration, and Shakara is open and expansive. And each of those Sha, Ka, and Ra, and you can say them slightly differently, they have a different harmonic resonance that brings back the true original creation coding to your energy centers. Anyway, so I would do little things that I thought were safe, like Shakara balancing, crystal healing, tarot reading. But to my family, that's like dancing with the devil. But because they're Catholic, well, maybe to my parents and my brothers and sisters, totally fine. They're still sort of struggling with this, and I just tell people, I have a dream. Oh, I had this dream about you, or send them a nice message. If I'd been in the Akash, and then one day I was up doing a sand play therapy course in the mountains outside of Sydney. I was living in Sydney by this stage, even though I grew up in Auckland in New Zealand. And but I was just so tired one morning because I'd been in the Akash all night. I didn't know it was the Akash, the library in the sky. And this wonderful lady who's, I wish I could remember her name. I hope she sees me one day and reaches out. And so I was in my 20s. So she was probably in her late 30s. So to me, she was like older. Anyway, this lovely motherly lady came out early. I was up early getting a cup of tea, and she's like, "Oh, has stuff come up for you overnight? Do you want to go and do a sand tray together? Like do a little bit of the sand play therapy. We'll see what happened for you." And because I was exhausted, the kind of zipped it mouth didn't work. And I said, "Oh, no, I wish I had things to sort out. I've been in the library in the sky all night. I've got information for everyone here, but it's completely jumbled. Anyway, I'm going to make a cup of tea." So she still very kindly just said, "Oh, well, okay. I'll make a cup of tea as well. And how about we sit together and you just tell me more about that?" And I said, "Oh, all right." So we went and sat down, and not the floodgates, but the words opened. And I just talked and talked and talked. And eventually she said, "You don't know where you're going at night, do you?" And it's been happening all my life. I'm so exhausted. And she said, "Well, that's called the Akash, and it's very well documented. And it's something that people want to know about. This is your gift in life. It's very rare and unusual that someone has such a clear channel to it. And you could be a guru, and you can find books on it." And so I was extremely grateful to know, but also very put off by the thought that I could be a guru and people might follow me. I didn't then and don't now like the spiritual egos in the spiritual alternative world. And there were a lot then. This is going back like 30, 40 years. So it's a lot of mostly male, pardon me, my dear friend, but mostly male spiritual leader egos. And I was like, "Oh, there's no way I'm going to be that. And there's no way I'm going to be that weirdo either." So I went to art school instead, and had a really good time, smoked a lot of dope, did some great art, really loved it. My mother is an artist. So, she would have been so happy if I'd become an artist, but the Akasha never stopped. So eventually, after a year or so, I ordered a book online. I don't even know if we must have had a computer to order it. So early days of computers. Linda Howe's book, How to Read the Akashic Records. And I just felt so guilty for ordering it. And I mention this because I want people to know that this is how it can be in your human body. You can be really like, this is stupid. This is like, I'm not that, and I should just, be an artist or whatever it is you're being. And but I got it and I read it, and as soon as I got into it, this intense sense of relief came over me. I was like, oh yes, this is me. Um, and um, and I started using her method where you say a pathway prayer to go into the Akash and to come out again. And was all like in a nice container. Wasn't happening at nighttime in my dreams. Well, it still was, but it was manageable. And I was just like, all the stress left me, just was like, oh my God, this is so easy. It's fantastic. So thank you, Linda Howe, for bringing that out, and to all the people who've brought out instructions for people over the years to help us find our way. Um, and so I started using her method and doing sessions for people. And then, one day I get paid. I was like, oh my God, someone paid me. Can't believe it. And then, of course, that became my job. And then one day there was a guy that used to come regularly to me, and we were having, a cup of tea afterwards, and Peter was his name. And Peter said, so what does everyone ask? What's the most common question? I was like, oh, what's my life purpose? And he said, yeah, that was my first question. I said, yeah, it's everyone's first question. Um, and which these days people would probably ask, what is my mission? Just terminology changes over the years. And he said, so what's yours? I was like, oh, to be an Akashic healer. And afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I never asked. Oh, so as soon as he was gone, I went into the Akash and I asked what the specific question, what is my life purpose? Because we come originally from light and sound, everything that's created, especially everything that holds wisdom, works on light and sound. So it works on the spoken word in the Akash, the vibration of it, even if you're not speaking it out loud, but just kind of saying it. It's here. The Akash wisdom is hearing it, the Akashic field. So I said, what's my life purpose? And my Lemurian team in the Akash, I have a lot of Lemurian energy. They came and they said, your job is to reattach the Akash to the earth. The Akash, currently, the Akashic field is out there. People go out to it and then come back. This was like 15 odd years ago or something like that. I'm not good at timelines. Yeah. Anyway, unless I'm jumping them, that's fun. So I was like, oh, okay. So they said in the fall of Atlantis, uh, we gave the keys to the records to the whales to hold for humanity, because we knew we were crashing. So now it's time to give the keys back to humanity, and take that yoke, that burden off the whales so they can be who they be, and um, and uh, and reattach the Akash to the earth. It's not meant to be out there. That was just partly because of trauma, partly because of safekeeping. And so I was like, oh, okay, great. So now I have a job. And I kept wondering how I would do it. And I had other healer friends that would hire boats and go out and sing to the whales, do light language and singing, but it never felt right. I was at the time would go to Tonga regularly. I had Islander Tongan friends where you can swim with the whales, but that didn't feel right. I was walking on the beach at Foresters Beach in New South Wales, if anyone's familiar with Australia, between Sydney and Newcastle, like every morning. And when it was whale season, I'd be, of course, talking to the whales, but nothing was really coming through as like, this is how you do your job. And then one day, and this process, by the way, is very much a river of light and river of life process. It's just the flow, it's the allowing. So if I can have a teaching moment, whatever your specific energy is, go with that. Mine's water. So all I have to do is keep clearing and asking and waiting. So so I went into so I had another client, another male who's regular, which I think is also interesting too, because I'm the divine flow, the feminine, and it's the male clients over the years who have asked the specific questions that trigger what the next thing is, or are just there for it. So Rod, who's a beautiful client in Australia, who's now in his 90s, so he's has healings, been with me for years, and his sessions always start with whatever is in the highest and best good of the earth, whatever's required, and then after that, if there's time, these are my questions for myself and my family. So I had opened the Akash with him. We talk on the phone, then I talk on the phone again, and then I send him the transcript, different generation. So there I am in the Akash, just typing blind, really. And we're there. I've opened his Akash in the Linda Howe method, gone out to the Akash, and then we're just there. And then all of a sudden, we're in, well, not Rod, but I'm in the aura around Earth. That scientifically, it's a blue gas. They call it the thin blue line, but it's this aura around Earth, and it's blue at the moment. It was green in other civilizations or earlier in Earth's creation. So, and all these healers, like all over the world, just with their arms out, and we're all just holding space. And then all of a sudden, the Akash just landed on the earth. It just went, it was like wind going everywhere. And these beings from the 14th dimension flew in. They're like Pegasus, but they're not. They're called hydrons, and they're winged white horses. They're huge, and they flew in, and they just started flying everywhere on Earth where that needed immediate harmonizing with this landing of the Akash. So they were doing that all over the planet while myself and other healers were holding the energy. And gradually the Akash sunk down to Earth's Hara, to the center. And then the rest of the healing was harmonizing, and the earth, the hydrons were doing that and holding the energy for Mama Gaia. And then that, not just that healing, but more healings after that were all about harmonizing and healing the soul Gaia that has incarnated as Earth. The trauma of having been separated from her wisdom, from her Akash, because it's meant to be there together in her Hara, and just the trauma that people would think that there was nothing wrong with a divine woman's wisdom being out there. It's not out there, it's in her womb, and her wisdom had to be brought back to her womb. And also reconnecting this beautiful, well, not reconnecting, it was already there, but there was just all this relationship with our sun, so Father, Son, and Mother Earth. There was a lot of sort of working through all Mama Gaia's trauma with the sun, not with the sun from having been separated from her wisdom, but her partner, the sun, was assisting. And so there was all this beautiful flow and energy and just a recalibration and a settling. And it was whale season. They were passing at that time where I lived then. So I was walking on the beach in the morning, and they were very active. Yes, the tails slapping a lot. And I said to them, what do you need? Thank you so much for holding that for so long for us. What do you need? And they said, we don't need anything. We're just happy not to have that yoke on our shoulders anymore. we can get back to doing what we do, which is with their sonar, they keep clearing all the planet constantly, anytime, all through all the oceans and the waterways. They do so much work to constantly clear energetic gunk out. And also they keep the harmony, the sound codes of, our original coding is sound and light. They keep that alive and pass it around the world to, it basically protects the earth. That's basically what they do in the oceanic kingdom. And at that time, there was a big upswing in protection for the whales, especially around Japan and around Norway. Like a lot of the groups that were working with that got to, really had some success with protecting them. And I was like, oh, it's so good. I feel like that was part of the reward, that the yoke of us, holding the Akash for us was taken off them. They got some sovereignty and some freedom. So yeah, that was a bit of a big introduction, but that was my first job. I had a few other jobs after that. Thank you for listening,
It's
Dr.
so beautiful.
Amir. And
So
yeah,
beautiful. So many confirmations. I'm sure not just for myself, but for anybody who's hearing you speak. So thank you so much for that. It's just beautiful. The
yeah, you're
Akashic
welcome.
records are now more readily accessible to every human being.
Safe, because going out, I used to often take people with me until my guides pulled me up and they said, stop it. Because, I tend to be a bit overly generous with the energy. Um, and I said, why? They love it. And they said, because they can't all come back.
Oh, yes.
Just because you walk between worlds doesn't mean everyone can. One day you'll meet someone that you can't bring back, and then they're going to be stuck in no man's land, and it's not going to be pleasant for them, like in this trying to be in a body when they're stuck out there. So yes, it's safer for everyone now because it's back where it's meant to be. Yeah,
So beautiful.
yeah.
Isn't that wonderful? This whole odyssey of humanity, the past
It
50
is.
to
It's just
75,000
incredible.
years,
Yeah.
all gone through. And finally, things are on the mend. Finally, it's time.
You're frozen. I know. Okay.
There we go. Okay, so finally, things are on the mend. It's time to
Finally,
go
things
to the
are on
new
the mend.
golden age. And
Yeah.
there are lots of people um, in the past few decades that have been doing grid work. That's what they call it, repairing the nervous system of the earth,
Yeah.
as if a preparation for this type of event, for one who has direct connection, the specialist, to come
Yeah.
and do
For
that
a
final,
specialist. It's a good.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
to bring
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that
And I have
final
often
thing.
said that too, that I couldn't do the work that I can do if it
So
wasn't for
much.
all the
Yeah,
other healers
we're
doing what
and,
they do.
and and so that's the thing. Together we are strong.
Yeah.
It always doesn't even need the conscious mind to be fully on board. People have this calling. Hey, I'm going to go on this sacred site and say some prayers and heal the earth. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? It worked. That's the
Yes.
brilliant news.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
Totally.
like to add
Yeah.
some of my own understanding about what is to
Yes.
come. Now,
Yes.
one
Yeah.
of the problems with the situation we are facing now on Earth, so much aggression, so much chaos and distortion,
Oh, yeah.
one is a result of ignorance, ignorance to universal law and the ground rules of Earth. These would all be contained in the Akashic records.
Yeah.
Now, once this is fully in place and Earth has enough energy in
Mm.
the near future, and I'm talking one human generation, 80 years to 100 years, the new humans coming in, by the time they reach puberty, they will fully connect to the Earth and they can upload all the rules. that automatically takes care of the problem of ignorance. So nobody could say, I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And then, in addition to this, the next problem is a result of lack of empathy.
Mm.
And so that is also being taken care of by something that has never been, let's call it a new form of records that has been brought in, instant downloads of possible future timelines showing exactly what the consequences of our actions are. Immediate feedback. So if you're causing
Yeah.
pain to a human or an animal, you will feel it right away and see where that leads down the line for you
Yeah.
and the person you're harming. So these two
Yeah.
factors are enough.
I
One is
like that.
awareness, one is empathy. This is going to
Mm.
result in the new golden age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have had a major hand in being who you are, let's just say. These kinds of things, it's not easy to put them into words. The soul does what the soul is meant to do. But thank you for your endurance, usually bringing into a human form. This kind of energy is very difficult,
Mm.
especially in a system that is not completely pure. So there would have been so many levels of sabotage, unusual concentration of trauma in your life, and you so
Yeah.
graciously just gloss over and don't even mention. But this is evident. So, on
Yeah.
behalf of humanity, those that came before and those that are yet unborn, I would like to say thank you.
No,
This is a big deal.
thank you. That's so beautiful. Thank you so, so much.
So,
Oh.
my wonderful friend Valentina, um,
Mm.
if you would like to give our wonderful audience some instructions, how can they start practicing? Because the Akashic records, they're a library of existence, of consciousness, of life. So everybody should have some level of access.
Mm.
How
Yeah.
how would they go about opening the Akashic records or stepping into them? What would your advice be for people?
Well, I can give people basic advice and also more structured tuition. So the basic advice is that what you start working with is just your soul in your body and the earth Akash that's around you. And actually, yeah, you'd also need the galactic Akash. So just this little galaxy, because you need to get this, start cleaning this up, and connecting through the membrane that connects these three akashas. So if you think of it as your body is a beautiful physical body and also an akashic storage place that your soul has managed with great effort to come into. So has managed to come into your body. And uh, you've come into your body at the end of a very, very, very long experiment. It's the like the complete end of the road that you could find. So some shit's gone down. And your soul's come in and gone, oh, okay. Really? Like, this is not as exciting as I thought it would be. And so you've got that going on in your body. But you've got this beautiful earth, which is in Akash in itself, a living Akash. But the center of the wisdom, of course, is down in her hara. So you've got this beautiful earth that's holding you. It's like, it's okay, I've got you. And so the earth, Akash, holds all of our individual records in there for all of our lifetimes on earth. And it allows us to access the other Akashas that have the other records for our galactic and our universal and our cosmic Akashas. So, but we'll just start down here. So Earth's holding you and it's holding your records. So the way that you can connect is through this membrane between your Akash, your body, and the earth, nature. So it's that feeling of being in nature, that feeling of when you're out in nature, you can feel this invisible, beautiful nature energy. That's the kind of membrane area that you need to get into and feel. So that you will start to feel held and safe to access your records. So it's very simple in that way that you need to be barefoot on the earth, spending time in nature, and feeling that that energy. There's definitely like connecting to the trees, connecting to the ocean, the rocks, but there's also that indefinable energy. And stargazing is amazing as well as so nighttime as well as daytime. So there's that. And then and then what holds the Earth Akash is the Galactic Akash. And the membrane in between those two is your higher self. So you need this connection with your higher self too. And so that's where you need, once this is kind of connected and healed, to just feel that energy of going outside of the earth and what's the space around there, and trusting that it's held by the galactic Akash is where these huge guardian beings are, and they just come down and they're like, you know, around you, just holding that space so that you can start to have a really nice conversation with your higher self, and connect with them. So it's because it can be interesting because your higher self is your mind, your consciousness, your spirit energy. And people talk about giving it to their higher self, and I'm going to ask my higher self, and I've got this download from my higher self. But if things are not really in full flow, it's because you're not quite doing this stepping of the connection, and also because you're at the end of a really long journey and there's a lot of housekeeping to do. So that's where we're at, is just the constant clearing of our records, because our higher selves find it hard to read the information in our bodies, Akash, because of trauma. So what we've discovered in our experiment in this particular lineage of consciousness from source, of what happens if you separate out from source, what happens if you have free will? Well, you get a lot of creation and a lot of amazing, amazing things. But you also, ultimately, what happens is trauma. So that needs to be cleared, anything traumatic in your life. And it doesn't always get cleared by being in nature. You might need to see a counselor, like a normal counselor, to clear things, or do body work with this, lots of great practitioners out there. But the more you clear the trauma from your body and then go and connect with that sort of membrane of energy in nature, is the more you'll have an ability to connect with your higher self in a way that they can read you and can give you specific information of what you need to do in your life. So that's a really good way to start, and to just go into that state of loving your body and asking for the information, and understanding that there might be records to clear first. You might need to keep clear, specifically trauma is the big one. And in a more structured way is I teach people how to go into the Akash. I take people into the Akash regularly in my community, and teach with the three Akashas, to start with, the earth, the soul, the earth, and the galactic. We bring it in the other way. I take you in by the galactic Akash into your body, and then the earth Akash into your body, and then your soul Akash into your body, and then do an invocation that was downloaded by my family in the Akash to take us there to honor. The invocation honors those three Akashas, but it also honors right up to the I am as well, your original coming out of source. So, does that answer the question? Yeah.
Beautifully, beautifully.
Oh, good.
It's it's so complete and composed. There's nothing for me to add. I couldn't put it better in words in any other way. So,
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Valentina, is there anything that you would like to give our wonderful audience? Any last words that you would like to tell them? And also, how can they find you? How can they get in touch with you?
Okay. Let me just see if there's any last words.
Here comes the goodies. Oh yeah.
It's all just coming in light codes. I'm like, can I have it in words? Um, oh, okay. So this is the advice coming from Cosmic Akash. So in the advanced teachings, I take people up to Universal and Cosmic Akash, or I will. I'm just creating those courses at the moment. The advice is that let me get it again. It's that your karma isn't real. It's trauma. And um, and it hurts, and we know it hurts, but it has to be cleared from this level. And that's part of the reason we come in too, even though some people come in and feel like, not, no, no, I must be tricked. I definitely didn't want to come back here because we know that it has to start at this level and then it clears the earth, the cache, and then that clears it just goes on and all the way up and actually sends vibrational resonance out to other galaxies as well. But that's the message that's come through from Cosmic Akash is that your karma isn't real. It's trauma and you can clear it. And that's probably why you've come back as well. And you haven't done anything wrong. You've just come back to do some housekeeping and be of service in the way you can be of service.
Oh, beautiful. Wow.
So, my business name is Sacred Akashic Healing Arts. So, I have a website in that name and a YouTube channel. And I also have a really wonderful community of just starting to still, the energy is amazing. So, I'm not still building the energy, but still bringing it to people, getting used to the technical side of things, really. Called Sacred Akashic Healing Arts. So, we'll just put a link to them, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Oh, they're all on my website anyway. If you go to the website, everything's there. That's kind of an easy one-stop shop.
I'll add
And
your
yeah,
website in the description so our wonderful audience can easily find you.
thank you. And everything is done in the community now. I've spread myself too thin over the years. So all the training's done there. I do light body activations, new moon to full moon. I talk to you about that in a second about the moon. And run beautiful journeys into the Akash, and you might honor us as being a special guest, and we could go into the Akash and talk together.
It would be
And
lovely.
I
Absolutely.
started watching your video about remote viewing the moon. I love oh, I've just discovered your YouTube, so still finding all the gold. All of it's gold. But yes, I loved what you said about the moon so far. I haven't, people do talk about the moon as being like it's a bad place, it's been taken over, but it has been, but it's never stopped being a sacred energy as well. And by honoring her and not taking and asking constantly, or blaming her for things, by honoring her cycles, which we do in the community from new moon to full moon. I film the sunrise like this one and activate people's light codes so you can come onto your timeline, your mission. Um, it helps her. It's like a woman who's had a mental breakdown, or whatever the PC term is these days. Um, you know, you should be loving her, not taking more from her because you can, because she's unstable, or abusing her so because she's unstable. So it it's the moon was damaged, but I noticed you could also see that she's been really, really rehabilitated a lot. And I have other friends who are Akashic graduates that work remotely, have been working remotely on the central system of the moon to bring her back online correctly too. So I was loved when I heard that. I was like, he's the real deal.
Thank you so much. My
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful friend. Your energy is amazing. Even your voice carries the effect of healing and calming and soothing and restoring. Thank you so much. It's been
Lovely. Thank
an
you.
incredible honor. And I hope that this is like a seed planted that will sprout and grow and come to fruition in many forms. May it serve the highest good of all.
Yes, may it serve the highest good of all, absolutely. And
Oh,
the earth.
thank you so much. And
Thank you, Dr. Amir.
I
I
would
love your
love
company too.
to co-create with you in the future in any way, shape, or
Yes.
form. It's an absolute honor.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I will take you up on that.
And to our wonderful audience, thank you so much. We
Thank
love you.
you.
I hope you
Bye-bye.
have a
We do.
great,
We love you
great
so much. Yeah. Ciao, ciao.
bye.